out there, and difficult, windy, and any crews that are struggling to steer today, I sympathise with them.
We'll come back to that experience in a moment, because the Diamond Challenge Sculls is underway with Keijzer from Netherlands and Spelman from Ireland here, going off absolutely explosively, aren't they, Pete?
Well, that's a great start. I'm really happy with how both crews have had a really clean one, not looking like they're having to overcorrect their steering at all. Really, really nice start to this race.
So it's the Diamond Challenge Sculls. This is a fantastic, historic trophy that's been raced for by so many people. We've got the Olympic champion, world champion Ollie Zeidler coming to try and win for the fourth time as part of this race that has been going since 1844. Everyone wants to win this in sculling, don't they? What are you seeing here, Pete?
Well, what I'd say firstly is this is the one event that I've never got to race in, and I'm jealous of them because this is really gladiatorial rowing. This is rowing one-to-one, head-to-head at Henley. You have the challenge of racing, but look at that bumpy water. In a single scull, you feel every bit of that.
Absolutely. It's lovely sculling from both scullers here. And so at this stage in the race, they've gone off the start, they've got an explosive start, but it's cat and mouse, isn't it? They're watching each other very intently here, just trying to make sure they don't let anybody slip away.
It's certainly cat and mouse, and within the boat it will feel closer than it looks for us looking at this. These races are long, 7 or 8 minutes, probably maybe even over 8 minutes in this headwind. There's a long time, and you don't want to go too soon.
And I guess there's also a reason you mentioned that you hadn't done this event. There's somehow a reason that some of us maybe don't go so successfully in the single. You can see the leads already now been opened up quite nicely. It's very different from being in a crew boat where you have others that are relying on you and you rely on. There's some difference in the psychology, isn't there, Jack?
There's absolutely difference. For me, it was great to be in a crew because I had 3 people to pull me along. In these single sculling races, it's all you. You have to be able to turn up to training on your own every day. Alan Campbell, who rowed in the Olympics for Great Britain, always said that he was rowing with all the people who liked him.
Right, exactly. It's something of the spirit of the single sculler here, and we're watching now Lucas Keijzer, 21 years old, won the Holland-Becker 2024 A final in Piluco Regatta in Italy recently at the University of Amsterdam, and rose for Nereus. And interestingly, he's coached by legendary Dutch cox Peter Veersen, who coxed in Beijing, in London and Rio, the Dutch men's 8, and they are a beautiful style of rowing in the Netherlands. So what a great coach to have for him.
Great coach to have, and you can see it. You can see that sculling is really smooth. There's some really, really long strokes going on, and the thing is, it's not over for Ryan Spelman here. He is also rowing long. He looks like he's in a manageable stroke rate, and coming up to Remenham Club, there's still a good 2.5 minutes of racing to go.
Yeah, we talk about the psychology of sculling and being on your own and solo. We do see upsets quite often happen in the single sculls. Just sort of sitting ahead of the opposition and feeling confident, and then suddenly somebody attacks you, and it can change quite quickly. Looking here with the Dutchman, well, he looks quite composed and calm, but he's working reasonably hard, isn't he?
Well, he looks under control, and whatever the stroke rate is showing, he's worked hard to get in that position, and his legs will be feeling that. However calm, however good his poker face is, there will be some pain there.
Yeah, so we are just past the halfway mark. You can see I think it says 4 minutes dead on that marker. That's the Foley marker that's just about halfway down the course. Now we're riding with Ryan Spelman. He's got some work to do through the middle, but he's not too far adrift at this stage, and so this is the critical middle phase of the race. So what would you be thinking of here if you're in Spelman's shoes?
Well, I'd be thinking to myself, can I feel the wash from the guy ahead of me? Can I feel that I'm catching them up? And if so, let's go for it.
Yeah, so with the poppy water here, we can see the athletes, have to keep the boat set. How do they kind of keep it really, really balanced and flat?
So these boats are about 30 centimetres wide. They are really narrow and really, really wobbly. So there is a lot of skill involved in keeping these boats flat.
Yeah, indeed. So you were out on the water earlier. We were saying we'll maybe come onto that a little bit. So what were the conditions like, and how tricky is it for the crews racing today? Yeah,
it's a pretty strong and gusty headwind. It is not always coming from the same direction. There's a lot of other river traffic that makes the water quite turbulent. It's pretty difficult to stay straight, and there's a lot of activity you have to do to make sure you stay on path.
I'm just looking at this shot, and you can see actually if you pick out the flags all the way along the course there, you can see them fluttering. They'll be in slightly different directions. They've just gone past this quite wide bay, which is an open area, and we often see crews struggling a little bit with steering there as the wind whips around. Now you're a Leander man. This is, you basically know this river as well as anything in your life probably, and so you'll know how to contend with this, but some of these crews are coming across for the first time to race here, and it's quite an alien environment for them.
Absolutely, and this race just being that bit longer, it's 2,112 metres compared to the 2,000 that we would typically race in international competitions. against the stream of the river with a bit of a headwind. This is a couple of minutes longer sometimes than what you're used to doing.
And as you say, I mean, I certainly remember for me many years ago now, the first time I raced at Henley, just not knowing where those markers are. You're expecting a marker at 500 metres, 1,000 metres, and instead of that you get a marker at 402, 637, 805, 1,047, so it's quite confusing. But I think they will know that they can smell home, and I can see a little bit more pressure and a little bit more of a sprint, maybe practicing his sprint there for Keijzer and the Dutch sculling boat, the yellow Empacher boat, as he powers to the line.
Yeah, I wonder whether Ryan Spelman started to put in a push, and actually then Lucas Keijzer got a bit worried and thought, hey, I need to do something here, because you never feel like you're as far ahead as you really are as well.
That's such an important thing. Even the most experienced athletes like this, you know, you want to make sure that you've shut the door on your opposition, and if there's a little bit of a move, you want to take it through. Now he relaxes the last couple of strokes, crosses the line first. He'll be happy with that as he goes through to fight another day in the legendary Diamond Challenge Sculls. Credit though to Ryan Spelman, who really pushed hard through the early part of the race and then held on sufficiently to keep the Dutchman busy and watchful throughout the day. So that's a win for Keijzer, Lucas Keijzer from Netherlands over Ryan Spelman from Ireland.